Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Saturday, April 9th, 2016, around 4:09 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. It's been a mix of sun and clouds today, seasonably cool, about 50-51 degrees, but you can't complain because it could be snowing or icing or raining this time of year. Some news to report. This is going to be a little bit of a long news segment. First of all, the Ottawa Senators crushed the Boston Bruins by a score of 6-1. The Bruins goaltender Tuukka Rask had the flu, so the backup had to play, and he gave up 6 unanswered goals after the Bruins scored first. And the Bruins are still mathematically in the playoffs because Philadelphia needs to get 2 points in the next 2 games. It's going to be tough because they're facing off against the Penguins and Islanders. So the best the Bruins could do is the second wild card. Detroit Red Wings lost to the New York Rangers today. The backup goaltender was playing for the Rangers. They won 3-2, but the Detroit Red Wings clinched the third position in the Atlantic. They'll be facing off against the Tampa Bay Lightning in a rematch of last year's playoffs in the first round. Also, the Boston Red Sox beat the Toronto Blue Jays by a score of 8-4 today. The San Francisco Giants re-signed first baseman Brandon Belt to a 6-year contract extension worth $75 million. That's a team-friendly deal. And also, the New York Yankees signed outfielder first baseman Nick Swisher to a minor league deal. And XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut's going to get a facelift. $250 million. They're probably going to expand it, and probably that might be attractive to bring back an NHL team. Move back to Carolina Hurricanes to Hartford and christen them the Hartford Whalers. Do 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 do. That's the Brass Bonanza. And if the Whalers are back in Hartford, they're going to go places. And that's about it on that. That's about it on this news segment. And my second video blog subject of the day is about USA Today Sports Weekly. USA Today Sports Weekly is a new newspaper that is about the week in sports. It's roughly about 40 some odd pages each week, and it tells about the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, the NFL, college basketball, college football, horse racing, golf, tennis, and NASCAR. And it costs $3 on the newsstands, and the subscription's $44.95 for all 52 issues. Background on USA Today Sports Weekly. It started in 1991, in April of 1991, as USA Today's Baseball Weekly. It was the first weekly baseball publication since the Sporting News got converted over to covering all sports. And the Baseball Weekly had in-depth coverage of every Major League Baseball team. They focused on the minor leagues as well, also on college baseball, had news and notes of every Major League Baseball team, showed you the weekly schedule, what was going to be on national television. Also, they carried box scores of every baseball game the preceding week. They did that for about a couple of years. They had a lot of great features about players, history lessons, and all-star game coverage, World Series coverage, off-season notes, and Baseball Hall of Fame coverage. And it was weekly during the baseball season, and then during the first few years that Baseball Weekly was in publication, it went to a bi-weekly schedule during the off season, and it was only $1 to buy it, and it got so popular by 1997 Baseball Weekly went 52 weeks a year, usually during the off season. The Baseball Weekly was maybe only about 40 pages long, but during the season, it was probably as much as 80 to 90 pages. They always had season previews of each team. And Baseball Weekly got so popular, and in 2002, they rebranded it to carry NFL, and it was rebranded from Baseball Weekly to Sports Weekly. And usually the NFL, they carried news and notes of each NFL team, told you about the weekly games, who was calling them, and what time it was on each network. And the sales of USA Today Sports Weekly continue to get big because of the football. It still carried baseball as well. It was 50-50 between baseball and football. In 2006, Sports Weekly added NASCAR coverage to it, but the NASCAR coverage was a little bit of a flop for Sports Weekly as the sales dropped. So after a year, they kind of stopped covering NASCAR, but they had special USA Today Sports Weekly editions about the NASCAR season, a separate newspaper. Plus they did that for the NFL preview, the college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball. And USA Today Sports Weekly continued to cover other sports. By the early 2010, they started to cover Major League Baseball. They decided to cover the NBA and then the NHL and then college basketball and college football and sometimes golf and tennis and horse racing. They always have the power rankings for the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL. Each team, they rank from numbers 1 through 30, plus tell you who's on pace to win the MVP award, Cy Young Award, the Rookie of the Year, and in the NFL, who's on pace to win the NFL MVP, and Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, etc., etc. And USA Today Sports Weekly still going strong after 25 years, and I subscribe to it. It's a very good sports weekly. You could also check it out online, but sometimes you hit a lot of these ads on it, and it's kind of a little slower than just reading it in the paper. I especially love the columns they have, really informative. Plus, there's fantasy stuff in there. So, if you're a sports fan, you better get Sports Weekly. It's only $3. It's well worth the investment. That's about it on this video blog. My third and final video blog's coming up. It will be about pro basketball Hall of Fame coach Red Auerbach. Keep calm, everybody. I'm Julie Button Guy. Molly Roseblood of WCCO Roxanne has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart, so stunning. She's the best. Amy Swenzi's awesome. And in the words of Sean Lucia, get out! See you later, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Bye now.